August 15, 2020, Mark Vogt, North American Robotics at the Barnstormers Field, testing the prototype Plank Mark 1. This is an exercise. This is a study in minimalist flight. What do I mean by minimal? What do I mean by minimalist? I mean, a fuselage is an unnecessary appendage. That's why flying wings exist. But flying wings end up having a number of disadvantages that you cannot escape from. One of them is you cannot take off or land. One of them is that you cannot take off from grass. You cannot take off from the ground. End of discussion. And that is a huge detriment when you're out there flying all by yourself. You need somebody to launch it for you, or you have to take a big risk trying to throw the thing in the air while pushing the joystick on the throttle with your mouth, or some other such nonsense. There's a lot to be said for wheeled landing gear and taking off from the ground. The challenge is that as you scale the plane down, and this is the big false assumption, the false constraint that everybody places on themselves when they build scale models, is that as you scale down the model, you don't get to scale down your environment. It stays at the same scale, which means all of those divots that an ordinary plane would have rolled right over now become literally ditches for an ordinary sized wheel to get stuck in. And there's no escaping that, other than you need to change the scale of certain parts of your airplane. In particular, you need to change the scale of the wheels. You cannot be concerned about trying to mimic something that exists as a 40-foot long aircraft, because you cannot scale that down. The wheels become so small, they become entrenched. They can't even roll in the grass like this at that level of scale. You need something bigger. The second thing is you need to have a positive angle of attack. You have to be able to, you can't roll flat across the ground and then hope you're going to somehow rotate up. Like with a pusher prop, they can't even rotate up to take off from a level surface. You need something that has a permanent positive angle of attack, high lift, so you get short takeoff and landing. What am I talking about? Tail draggers. But we want the benefits of a flying wing, meaning minimal fuselage. It doesn't need to be there because it's not carrying cargo. It's going to carry a camera and that's it. Enter the Plank Mark 1. This is made out of pink foam, 2 inches thick, and in the next iteration it's going to go down to 1 inch thick. We have an absolute minimal amount of material here, just enough to be able to support or to resist all of the bending loads that act on when the empennage is actually elevating up, elevating down. It's putting a bending moment right on that section of the plane, and all you have to do is be able to resist it. The reason we want a conventional empennage, rudder and elevator, is the rudder gives us yaw. And if this is meant to be a mission designed platform to carry a camera, then we need to be able to do flat turns. A flying wing must necessarily bank during the turn, which means all of the footage you're taking during the turn is useless information, cannot be used. If I can do a yaw-based turn, a flat turn with a rudder compensating with ailerons, I end up with a flat turn. Hence, you end up with a completely mission, purposeful built design. It is a flying wing, essentially, with just enough fuselage on there to serve as a place where you can hook on your servos, hook on your battery, hook on your ESC, connect your motor, and something to which you can actually put a substantial set of landing gear capable of handling what's going on here out on the grass. We're going to take off into the wind, so I may as well get set up. I'm going to set myself in the densest part of the grass here. And what we see is that by going with 4-inch foam wheels, the propeller is far, far above the grass. No problem with there whatsoever with worrying that that is ever going to touch the ground. I end up with a positive angle of attack. Even the fuselage itself becomes a lifting body at that kind of a positive angle, a positive alpha. I end up with 4-inch wheels capable of hitting any of the standard divots that you might find or tall grass without any problem. And I have just a simple tail dragging surface where I'm not dragging the elevator, damaging it. I've got material down there, but I don't have wheels or anything else that could possibly get hooked, because at scale, those things become very weak. At scale, those things become hooks rather than rollers. They don't roll across the grass any more than my car tire can actually roll across the ditch on the side of the road. You go in, you go out, you go in, you go out. There's no rolling. It's damage that you're creating. Why not just have a simple drag? I have very low mass on the tail, hence it's going to be easy. And even as I look at it, I see I've actually over-designed this thing. It didn't need to be this thick. In the next iteration, it's going to be actually only an inch thick instead of 2 inches. Anyway, I'm going to put the head strap on, and then we're going to do a flight control check, and we're going to take off. Let me look here at the, down here at the shadow. Looks like it's pretty good. I think it's pointing down. I need to be about 10 feet away. I've got my brand new Radio Master TX16S bound and ready to go. We're going to do a flight control check from the side first. Up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder, roll to the right, roll to the left, little power prop. Oh, this is going pretty well. The balance point with the battery placed that far in front is right about here, which should be pretty good. Now I'm doing a double check of where the sock is. Temperature's about 88 degrees, light cloudy skies, but a pronounced wind coming out of the west, so I'm going to move to the east side of the field for the takeoff. Should be fine right here. It was mowed probably yesterday, Friday, but you'll see that the wheels should be doing pretty good. All right, we're gonna do one more check from back here. I'm gonna take my glasses off. Looks like I gotta rotate into the wind just a little bit. Roll right, roll left, up, down, hooking in. Forgot to do that. Okay, not going to be a big test flight. I have a minimally charged battery. Even my controller needs a little charging. Taking off in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God! Look how easily that flew. My God! That thing loves flying. Going slow, doing some rolling. Coming around. Oh my gosh, it's got so much lift. I'm going to try to bring it in. Slowing down. It's actually maybe a little tail heavy. We're going to turn it around. When I turn it around, it actually lifts up. Killing power and seeing what it looks like dead stick. Coming in for a dead stick landing. Oh, that was marvelous. It literally flew beyond all expectations. The fuselage acting like a lifting body. I actually have to be careful and give it down elevator when I'm making turns, because the act of turning is also banking, and banking means I'm banking not just the wings, but I'm banking the fuselage, turning it into a lifting body, increasing the lift during the turn, so that instead of turning like this, it wants to turn and start to lift up almost to the point of stall. Oh my God! Oh, I have some small damage on here. My yoke popped off, and I've got to make a correction. Let me clip out and tie this yoke back on. Wow. Don't know how or why that happened. Glad I noticed. I don't have any rubber bands on here, so I have to be very careful about my takeoffs. That's one thing that I forgot. Dang it. We're going to take off one more time, go around the field, hope that I don't have any crashes, land safely, and then we're going to call that a positive experiment. Okay, we're back over here. Up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder. Rotate or bank right, bank left, a little bit of power. Gonna make sure that my battery on my cameras or my, see, I'm still recording. Yep, looks like I'm still recording. Wow, beyond all expectations. I'm trying to keep this thing from flying. Imagine how much extra flight time you're potentially gonna get. I'm not getting as much left rudder as I'd like. You can see the cables are bending. My my shafts are actually bending rather than pushing it to the left, but we'll do the best we can. I'm going to turn a little bit. I can't believe how fast that thing took off. Taking off in 3, 2, 1. And it's up. Oh. It's a little bucky. I think it's a little nose light. Gonna kill power and come in. Every time I go positive, I get a lot of lift. Look at that! Boy, we actually need it to be a little bit nose heavier, but that's, you know, that's to be expected. But the whole idea, did the platform stay together? Did I experience a breakage in the tail? Hell no. Let's set this down for a second so I can see this. Beyond all expectations, Mike. The idea of a platform like that, flat, minimalist, actually everything worked well. The elevators were completely unimpeded by the fact that there's this great big tail piece underneath, a plank is underneath there. Didn't affect it at all. I've got to work a little bit on my rods to put a brace in the middle so that they don't bow and I get better left elevator. I had plenty of aileron. If anything, I was just a little tail heavy, just a little, which means I'm already well set up to not use a 2200 milliamp hour battery. And that's the smaller ones. You know, now they're getting smaller and lighter for the same mods, for the same amount of charge. I can actually put in, I'll probably go and put in a 3300 or even a 4800 battery inside here, expecting the mass to actually bring the center of lift more towards right about here instead of where it is, which is right back here somewhere. Right now, this is apparently about where it is. And that makes it pitchy, that's all. Wow, wow! You saw how easily it landed. I hope that shows up in the film. I'm gonna go into the Jeep now, charge my phone up a little bit, look at the footage and see how it went. But I lifted up just a little bit and this thing just floated down to the ground. Ha! Super pleased with how that turned out. Mike, Marco, hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you in a bit.